A father of two killed last night, feet away from his family. It was Ohio District's first murder for the new year. And the UDP fights off fake news as the party tries to put itself together for municipal elections. Plus, Agriculture Minister Jose Mai, he started the great Lala War of 2021. Now, Mai says he loves Lala, but farmers come first. Also, dead men don't tell tales, but do they transfer land? Well, in Cayo, they do. Whistleblower Eddie De La Rosa tells about all the city deeds. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Tuesday, January 12, 2021. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra.
For hydration, when the choice is yours, choose the brand you have always trusted. Crystal Water. Taste you can trust.
Caused intense flooding overnight in the western and southern parts of the country.
Yeah?
Do we need to renew the insurance policy?
The Price Highway
The
and
insurance
the
policy?
Highway were impassable.
Oh,
as
let me
water
check.
gushed across the thoroughfare.
Renew your policies, file a claim, and even send us a message using RFNG online.
No, we're good. It says we're covered.
Okay, great.
It pays to get it right with RFNG Insurance, a road group company.
Welcome back to Popsville, where Grandpa Keith and his neighbor Martin are hard at work making way for another big junk haul. But this scrap party is about to come crashing down. Back from a school workshop about Pops, it might be time for Adita to start putting her knowledge to practice.
Did you know that when you dismantle old electronics and car parts, you're exposing yourself and others to persistent organic pollutants? Don't you know what POPs are and their dangers? Well, come, let me show you.
When we dismantle outdated electronics like old TVs, computer monitors, and smartphones, we expose ourselves and our families to highly hazardous chemicals that can affect our health in the long and short term. Not so fast, Martin. This goes for you too. Improper dismantling and disposal of end-of-life vehicles can also release dangerous fumes, which can make your family and those around you very ill. Burning plastic from cables and other e-waste can also create health risks. But if you follow these simple tips, you can prevent the worst from happening. When ready to get rid of your old electronics, contact authorized recyclers and dealers on proper instructions on how to safely dispose of unwanted items. While it's nice to have new things, buying too much can overwhelm our homes with clutter. If you need to purchase, choose long-lasting products or items that are highly recyclable to reduce these hazards. Make sure to check the labels on carpets and mattresses before purchasing, as certain countries require that these products are manufactured with flame retardants that may be hazardous when exposed to us over time. For a safer alternative, consider switching to carpets or mattresses made with POPs-free materials. And finally, it's very important to recycle. Recycling often helps reduce any buildup of unwanted items in homes and yards, keeping us all free from potentially hazardous pollutants. For more information on recycling or on disposing products of concern, contact your local waste management agency or visit stopthepops.com for more details. Sometimes danger lurks where you least expect it. The more you know, the healthier you can grow.
It's now easier to monitor your energy usage with the BEL 24/7 mobile app. Just simply take a photo of your current meter number, open the app, go to Calculator, and from the list, select Smart Calculator. Choose your meter number followed by your kilowatt hours, then press Calculate. With this powerful feature, you can easily manage your energy usage. Download the BEL 24/7 mobile app from Google Play or the Apple Store today.
You have a neighbor throwing a party? Do you know of anyone holding a social event? Have you seen people not following protocols set in place to reduce the spread of COVID-19? If so, report them immediately. Use SMART or BTL and call 0800 parties. That's 0800 727 8432. Our COVID-19 hotlines are available 24/7. These violators are putting your health and everyone you love at risk. Call our COVID-19 hotlines and report all violators. This message was brought to you by the Belize Police Department.
A tranquil Monday night in Esperanza village was interrupted by the sound of a gunshot close to the curfew hour. Coming on to 8 p.m., 34-year-old Gambino Garnett Jr. was about to leave his girlfriend's house on Middlebank Road when a gunman opened fire on him. As many as 11 shots were fired, but Garnett still made it to the San Ignacio Hospital before he succumbed. Garnett's family is now coming to terms with his death and the fact that his infant son will grow up without a father. Courtney Menzies has his story.
It started out as a normal Monday night for 30-year-old Gambino Garnett Jr. He was at his girlfriend's house in Esperanza village. She made him dinner, and then they watched television while he played with his 10-month-old son. But then, Garnett decided to take his family to his home in Santa Elena for the night. And that decision turned out to be his last. Things went south shortly after, as his girlfriend, Kenya Montejo, explained to us.
He said, I go bring the vehicle, for bring it up like how he done the drizzle, for make we go. I told Karen, Gambino gone, I gone in for the baby bag. When I got in for the baby bag, I hear a monk and eyes. One time I see my cousin and my mom bust the window. I hear playing Gambino holla Kenya. By the time I run out and jump back through the back door, Gambino down there by the stank, the whole side. And I watch and I tell him, babe, that will happen. Like that, and I touch up his clothes, I pull up his shirt for sit, that will happen. And I just feel a warm for me, my side wet up with blood. So I tell her, you can shot, he said, they shot me.
As Montejo cried over Garnet, she saw the gunman running away. She shouted obscenities as he fled and now blames him for disrupting the peaceful life that she lived with her boyfriend.
I watched by my baby. Like, how the hell somebody could do shit and left me without a baby pa?
Montejo described him as a family man whose first priority was his baby boy, Zidane. He wanted a son, but sadly, he was only able to be there for the first 10 months of the infant's life.
My baby I turned 1 March 6. Me and Gabi no sit down the plan for we baby birthday party. That what we do most of the time. He happy he got a son, this is for his first son. He have daughters, but this is the first son we have. And the daughter, Zara, and Zidane stick on. As you can see, he give that baby this name Zidane, that I like okay put with the baby, the name, the memories, and everything. They just take that way. I just want the person who left me without a picnic, without a pa, and how they expect me to explain that to them, to my baby.
And it's the memories left behind that she will cherish. What's something special that you'll remember about him?
Smile, the fatherly love, the jokes, always they mess with me. Got me my everything. He gave me my first son, my one and only picnic. 25 years older than I have my baby, but I never see Gabino shit until Zidane ban.
Montejo explained that Garnet was shot as he was about to turn the key in the ignition of the car. But police say this is not the first time he was targeted. Their reports are that someone shot after him 3 weeks prior to this incident, but he managed to escape unharmed. This time, he was not so lucky. Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
One person is currently detained and police are looking for 2 other suspects. Garnet was charged for the murder of a 19-year-old back in 2014. The incident happened in San Ignacio town. Last night on 7 News, we spoke with land fraud whistleblower Eddie De La Rosa. De La Rosa is a former UDP political operator in the Cayo district who left the country some years ago after being involved in the dirty depths of a ruthless political machine. Now he's risen to prominence as a whistleblower after Minister of Natural Resources Cordell Hyde detailed an alarming land fraud system coming out of the UDP Cayo Central area. Minister Hyde says dozens of people unwittingly had their name and social security numbers used to acquire parcels of public land. Without their knowledge and with a fake signature, these phantom owners would then flip the properties into the ownership of politically connected persons or companies. How many people did this happen to without their knowledge? Appearing this morning on Plus TV's Rise and Shine, De La Rosa said it was over 100, including 1 dead man.
How many people did you process with that kind of social security, sign on the behalf, pass it off to a false JP, whatever? How many people would you say roughly were used in this scheme?
More than 100. They had a gentleman that got into an accident and he died a couple years or some years in the back, and they had land in Virginium, but guess what? The land is already transferred into some of their name, and the man done that.
Did he know that he had land in his name?
No. 6 months after he died, or I believe it's 6 months, the land got transferred. And find the man's name and do what they had to do, and the land, then have somebody named no.
Could you give an extent of the general area where they were selecting lands or at least doing land flips or land transactions?
San Pedro, Mountain Pine Ridge, Hen and Chicken Key, Yoncal, Yalbac, Buena Vista, Santa Elena, Cristo Rey, San Antonio. That's what I can recall just off of my head.
De La Rosa says he has been contacted by officials in the current Ministry of Natural Resources for information and is cooperating with them. He hopes to have the land returned to the persons whose names were used before they were illegally transferred. And while De La Rosa says he has proof to back up the truth of his claims, there is no truth to a fake press release claiming to announce the UDP's slate for municipal elections. Names such as the local meme Kendra Madrill, infamous cab driver Roy Craig, and past Miss Universe Belize Janelle Fraser were some of the candidates presented. The release also makes the claim that a UDP council would create jobs, provide free education, and build cement homes, none of which are the mandates of the City Council. The UDP addressed the fake release with a legit release, saying that it is, quote, a desperate attempt by the People's United Party to distract Belize City residents from the poor performance of this disastrous PUP City Council administration. City residents are asking the PUP administration to do their job, but all they have to offer are distractions and laughter, end quote. The official slate has yet to be announced, but sources tell us that there are 26 candidates interested in representing the UDP for Belize City. The problem, though, lies in hosting a convention under strict quarantine regulations. One candidate hopeful who has pushed ahead with his own soft launch of his candidacy for mayor is our media colleague Orson Picard. He stressed today, though, that the party executive has not yet confirmed his candidacy. And you know all about mosquitoes, but have you ever heard of a midge? Well, if you live near the sea right now, you probably know all about them. We'll tell you what the health department is doing about the weird insect. And COVID was literally a killer last year, and a terrible one. But you know what wasn't? Dengue. We'll show you how numbers declined sharply. Don't go away.
Looking for a paint which offers durability, fast drying action, easy application, long-lasting protection, and low odor? Then Coronado is the brand you need. Choose from eggshell, flat, or semi-gloss finishes for your home's interior or exterior. You can also protect your deck from the harsh outdoor elements with Coronado Maxum deck and siding stain. We also have primers, masonry, and metal coatings for other projects around your home. Benny's Paint Center has the paint you need in the color and finish you want. Enjoy your newly painted home with long-lasting, durable Coronado paints. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Delicate, the beer of Belize.
Welcome to the beautiful and quiet town of Popsville, home of agriculture, industry, and family. And in a local coffee shop not too far away, Devin meets up with Keisha to share what he's learned from his persistent organic pollutants workshop. Tell me, Keisha, have you ever heard about POPs?
POPs? What's a POP?
POPs, short for persistent organic pollutants, are a group of carbon-based chemicals that are harmful to our health and to the environment. According to the Stockholm Convention, POPs have been classified as harmful due to their persistence, bioaccumulation, toxicity, and long-range transport. This means that POPs can exist for many years and can seriously affect our health and the environment. That's right, Keisha. So pay attention to these main sources of POPs. To date, there are 16 known pesticides that have been identified as persistent organic pollutants. POPs, pesticides including DDT and lindane, can especially have long-term effects on our health and environment and should be avoided at all costs. Polychlorinated biphenyls are chemicals found in some industrial equipment manufactured before 1985 and were used to reduce the occurrence of fires in electrical equipment. Try avoiding contact with these items. Perfluorooctane sulfonic acids, or PFAS for short, may be found in several common household items that make everyday life easier, so pay attention to the type of items you choose to buy. Brominated flame retardants, PBDEs and HBCD, are man-made chemicals added to a variety of products such as dashboards and foaming seats to make them less flammable. Unintentional persistent organic pollutants are formed due to several chemical processes or improper combustion processes, such as open burning of waste. So you see, Keisha, POPs may be found right under our noses.
So what can happen to me if I'm exposed to these POPs?
Well, short-term exposure can cause symptoms like headaches, dizziness, and nausea, but staying in contact with these chemicals over prolonged periods and exposure to high concentrations can potentially make you very sick. Special precaution must be taken as pregnant women and developing children are most at risk when exposed to POPs. So now you know a little bit more on POPs, where they may be found, and how they can affect you. For more information on how to manage and dispose of POPs containing products and waste, contact your local waste management agency or visit www.stopthepops.com for more info. Sometimes danger lurks where you least expect it. The more you know, the healthier you can grow.
Season's greetings. Girl, consider you that compliments of the season, girl.
Yes, girl. So how you did do? Girl, I'm here, Gary, girl, let go.
Girl, not too bad, you know. That's 6 months now, so we barely feel it. And you did do big Christmas shopping, though.
Yes, girl. You know, every year the whole family come over to my house. Lot of mouth to feed. And tell him even when we buy a new sofa set, I don't know who we're gonna try him first. And you done your big Christmas shopping?
No, girl, no kind of big shopping this year.
I totally understand.
Anyways, make I try come out of this place. Bye.
Not forget your tax receipt.
Receipt? For the little bit of thing?
It no matter, for the sake of accountability, we have to know that for we tax money, they go where it's supposed to go. You don't know, tax is important for the economy of every country. Taxes help pay for education, streets, and other government projects like grocery bag will benefit all of we. And you never know, when the economy pick up back, maybe Gary could even get back a job.
You know, you're right.
It's that time of year again. And whether you're buying gifts for loved ones, shopping for new furniture and appliances, or simply doing business as usual, the Belize Tax Service Department would like to remind you to always ask for a tax receipt with every purchase. Let us all do our part to ensure the further growth of Belize. Together we build our country, your contribution, our development.
Contraband is the illegal importation of goods such as alcohol, tobacco, foods, and parts. Apart from breaking the law, smugglers are also now endangering the health of all Belizeans. They risk bringing coronavirus into Belize with their contraband. To keep COVID-19 out of Belize, everyone everyone entering the country is screened and quarantined. But contraband smugglers are not using legal entry points and are bypassing all safety measures. And these same smugglers are moving among the population. They could be carrying the virus. By coming into the country illegally, they could cause outbreaks of COVID-19. Buying or smuggling contraband is putting yourself, your family, and the entire country at risk. Report smuggling. For SMART, call 0800-JUMPERS or 0800-BORDERS. For Digi, 0800-SAVE-BZE. This message is brought to you by the Belize Police Department and the Belize Bank.
El contrabando es importar ilegalmente productos como el alcohol, tabaco, comida y objetos. Aparte de romper la ley, los contrabandistas están poniendo ahora en riesgo la salud de los beliceños. Ellos arriesgan traer coronavirus a Belice por medio de sus contrabandos. Para mantener el COVID-19 fuera de Belice, todos los que entren al país son examinados y encuarentenados. Sin embargo, los contrabandistas no utilizan los puntos de entrada legal y se saltan todas las medidas de seguridad. Estos mismos traficantes se están moviendo entre la población. Ellos podrían tener el virus. Al entrar ilícitamente al país, esto puede provocar un brote de COVID-19. Comprar o traficar contrabando te pone a ti, a tu familia y a todo tu país en riesgo. Para números de SMART, llama al 0800-586-7377, 0800-267-3377 y para Digi 0800-728-3293 para reportar cualquier actividad de contrabando. Este mensaje es presentado por el Departamento de Policía de Belice y el Banco de Belice.
Four border jumpers will be joining the two others we told you about in yesterday's news. The mobile interdiction team acting as a border jumper unit intercepted another canoe, this time in San Victor village, which is contraband central. It happened on the banks of the Rio Hondo, where the border jumpers had various types of contraband goods, including snacks, sodas, beer, energy drinks, and more. They will be charged for illegally crossing the border as well as for the contraband. On Friday, Minister of Agriculture Jose Mai spoke passionately from the House floor. He outlined what he described as an oversaturated dairy market, one that had seen local producers pushed to the brink by uneven application of tax laws and the deep pockets of merchants, flooding the market with imported dairy products. Mai called it a shame and vowed to never allow it to happen again. He told the House that thus far, he hadn't issued any import permits for cheddar or mozzarella cheese. Here's what he said at the House on Friday.
This government, Madam Speaker, since elected, has not issued import permits for cheese, for mozzarella, neither cheddar cheese. And we will not issue any permits until our farmers are able to market their cheese entirely.
But cheese isn't the only thing on the chopping block. The future for that other mass importation dairy product, Lala milk, is also precarious, with rumors spreading of an all-out ban. Indeed, the issuance of permits to import Belize's most consumed milk has slowed. But today, on his Orange Walk South Facebook page, Mai made a post to quell those fears, saying, quote, "There is no intention or need to ban Lala or any other imported milk, including other dairy products such as cheddar or mozzarella cheese." The Agriculture Minister admits that local farmers are, as yet, unable to extend their products' shelf life or supply the country's demand. And while he says that his family loves Lala milk, he believes that he also has a, quote, "moral and patriotic duty to farmers and our ailing economy." And rounding out his post, Mai also said that when it comes to purchasing local or imported, the key is to strike a balance and to keep scarce dollars at home. And while Mai's pious protectionism does strike a chord, our sources tell us that while import permits for Lala milk have been blocked for the local agent, a preferred importer from Orange Walk has been allowed to import a limited quantity of the dairy products. You may know about National Forensic Science Service. This is the government department under the Ministry of Home Affairs that combs crime scenes for evidence, key to producing convictions in court. Many cases pivot on the quality of the forensic evidence gathered. This afternoon, the NFSS took an important step in a bigger plan to strengthen the country's death investigation system. Recently, the Cabinet approved the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between the NFSS and the Central American Health Sciences University, which is also known as the Belize Medical College. That MOU was officially finalized today, and it now establishes a formal working relationship between the two entities. And it means that they will be performing more post-mortem examinations at the medical school. It's a mutually beneficial relationship between the two parties, and so they invited the press to witness this important signing ceremony. 7 News stopped by this afternoon, and we spoke with the director of the National Forensic Science Service about this important step.
This MOU was actually conceived back in 2018, the need to establish a memorandum of understanding between the National Forensic Science Service and the Central America Health Sciences University in the way of conducting medical legal post-mortem examinations, or what the public general knows as forensic post-mortem examinations. It started with a visit by Dr. Roger Mitchell and other experts through the INL program of the U.S. Embassy, where we did an assessment of all the morgues in the country where our doctors or medical examiners conduct postmortems. And the morgue here, or what Cashew calls the anatomy lab, was identified as one of the more ideal locations to conduct autopsies. And as part of this institution, the Cashew efforts at becoming accredited, also as part of the National Forensic Science Service long-term plan of attaining accreditation, such informal relationships need to be formalized, in this case as an MOU. The need for a secure space to conduct forensic autopsies was highlighted last year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. We actually, in 2020, conducted over 60% of all our autopsies or post-mortem exams here at the Cashew morgue. That was the first year, 2020 was the first year where majority of our postmortems were done here. Prior to that, all the postmortems were done at the Carl Hushner Memorial Hospital morgue. Obviously, because of concerns about staff becoming infected, about concerns with contact with COVID-positive cadavers and high traffic of individuals, we stood to benefit a lot from using the space at CASU. CASU stands to benefit a lot by having our trained medical examiners be present here and to assist in academic activities, because a part of continuous professional development for forensic medical examiners is a strong academic component.
One of our key components of our charter requires that we satisfy affiliation with government agencies. None more better than the forensic department, as Mr. Cho had rightly said. It provides educational expertise for students. So that's our number one benefit, as well as it satisfies our ongoing accreditation process. Prior to this, we used to have to import cadavers. Sometimes it became challenging due to the cost and things like that. So now that we have actually this MOU and the relationship with the forensic department, we have a more continued base of educational expertise to our students.
The director also told us that this formalized relationship with the CAHSU allows for decomposed human remains to be examined in a proper setting. The National Forensic Science Services intends to cut down on-site post-mortem examinations for decomposed remains. As part of this strategic plan for improvement, the Coroner's Act will be repealed and replaced with more modern legislation. Director Cho also told us that annually there are approximately 2,000 deaths per year for different reasons. There are 3 medical examiners on staff at the National Forensic Science Service, and together they usually take on about 25% of those 2,000 cases every year. Many of those post-mortem examinations last year were for the 248 persons who died of COVID-19. But there were no deaths from dengue in 2020, as compared to at least 4 dengue deaths in 2019. And the welcome decline in the number of deaths owes to the fact that there was an 86% decrease in the number of cases. But what explains it? Because it's not like mosquitoes just stopped biting. Well, it could very well be due to lockdowns, but according to the Chief of Operations at Vector Control, it can also be credited to a number of other mitigating factors. He spoke to Cherise Halsal via Zoom today about the decline in dengue and the cross-border activity that was largely to blame.
We've seen really an amazing reduction of that disease, about 86% from 2019 when there were 8,300 cases to 2020 when there were just 1,163 cases. What would you credit with this incredible reduction?
The outbreak of dengue locally started from fourth quarter 2018 and ran all the way through 2019. That period saw the highest record number of dengue cases both locally and throughout the region, as reported by PAHO. And what we saw was around first quarter last year, there was a reduction of cases leading before the lockdowns. And so many things played in our favor with respect to the closure of the borders, the restriction in inter-district movement, even locally with respect to the curfews that were in place at various times during the year. We still had a presence on the ground with respect to vector control staff conducting larviciding and also adult spraying using our spray truck. So I think that many things played in our favor. Granted, there was a reduction in terms of the visitation to health facilities for dengue testing, but not to discredit the interventions that were in place. But I think many things combined and played in our favor, and that's how we ended up from 8,359 cases in 2019 to 1,163 cases last year. If you look at the epidemiological situation over time for certain disease, dengue, in years past, Zika and chikungunya, even malaria, along border communities on the Rio Hondo side in Mexico, and on our side of the Rio Hondo, we have a string of villages along the border area. We tend to see outbreaks on both sides. So, of course, there was strict control in terms of movement along the river, both legal and illegal entry points. So, I think that it did contribute to improving the situation. But if you look at the figures in years past, the situation has always been where the northern districts, along with Belize district, tend to have the higher number of cases of dengue. Last year, I think those three districts accounted for 78% of the total dengue cases.
Bautista says that the ministry isn't optimistic about the situation going forward because eventually the borders will reopen and the movement in those corridors will go back to normal. We also spoke to Bautista about something that came from the swamp, a swarm of curious flying insects that look a lot like mosquitoes, except they're not. They're called midges, and they are swarming right now in coastal areas. The good news is they're the non-biting kind. But if they've been buzzing around your house or blanketing your ceilings in swarms and forcing you to break out the baygon, well, you'll be happy to know that they won't be around much longer. Bautista told us why.
So over the past days, we receive concerns from residents from communities along the coast, including some neighborhoods along the coast, the shoreline in Belize City, whereby they were complaining about a proliferation of some tiny bugs, which we confirmed to be a type of midge. So there are several hundred species of midges, both biting and non-biting. And what we're seeing is a high number of non-biting midges. So I think that when we reviewed the situation, what contributed to this high proliferation of midges was post-flooding. You had many areas that remained inundated and some muddy areas that didn't have too much water, but still remained quite saturated. And so when you combine that with the effects of the cool weather that we've been receiving, I think we've had multiple cold fronts. It's the ideal temperature for midges to thrive. So that's basically what we're seeing. Sometimes what also contributes to that high population is if you have any population of predators, whether it's dragonflies or any other insects that feed on the midges, if that population is affected, then you would have the midge population thrive while the other one is suppressed. So I think we should expect to see the situation at least for another couple of days. I think the lifespan tends to be fairly short, about 3 to 5 days. And we've had our staff on the ground doing both larval control and adult control using our foggers. So I believe that the situation should improve in the coming days.
Bautista says that in the case of the midges, unlike the Aedes mosquito, it's doubtful that the situation is a result of water-filled containers on these premises, and more to do with the thriving of midge populations breeding in mangrove and other swampy areas. Last night we told you about that gray Volkswagen Jetta car, which police believe was stolen from across the Mexican border. The cops found it outside of Corozal town several weeks ago, and when they finally managed to get inside, they found 2 assault rifles and a parcel of marijuana. Well, the news tonight is that another Volkswagen Jetta car was busted in the Corozal district, and it was carrying a large stash of marijuana. 7 News understands that at around 3:30 p.m. yesterday, Corozal police were conducting patrols in the Chula Vista area of that northern municipality. That's when they spotted persons running into nearby bushes. These unknown individuals appeared to be abandoning a black Volkswagen Jetta car which had Corozal license plates. The cops searched the area, and that's when they found 2 sealed parcels of transparent plastic which contained marijuana. These packages were sitting on a picnic table, and beside it the cops found 2 large garbage bags which contained a total of 16 parcels of weed, which were wrapped in plastic. The abandoned vehicle was then searched, and an additional 3 parcels of weed were found inside it. The cops weighed all of these packages, and it totaled up to 22.08 kilos or 47 pounds of marijuana that the fleeing individuals abandoned. This is a second close to 50-pound bus coming out of Corozal in a few days. And we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll tell you about the name that's been selected for that anteater we told you about a few weeks ago. And contact sports are on pause and players are suffering. But we'll tell you about a new online program to develop the neglected skills of youth footballers. Don't go away.
Looking for a paint which offers durability, fast drying action, easy application, long-lasting protection, and low odor? Then Coronado is the brand you need. Choose from eggshell, flat, or semi-gloss finishes for your home's interior or exterior. You can also protect your deck from the harsh outdoor elements with Coronado Maxum deck and siding stain. We also have primers, masonry, and metal coatings for other projects around your home. Benny's Paint Center has the paint you need in the color and finish you want. Enjoy your newly painted home with long-lasting, durable Coronado paints. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
For hydration, when the choice is yours, choose the brand you have always trusted. Crystal Water. Taste you can trust.
Welcome back to Popsville, where Grandpa Keith and his neighbor Martin are hard at work making way for another big junk haul. But this scrap party is about to come crashing down. Back from a school workshop about Pops, it might be time for Adita to start putting her knowledge to practice.
Did you know that when you dismantle old electronics and car parts, you're exposing yourself and others to persistent organic pollutants? Don't you know what POPs are and their dangers? Well, come, let me show you.
When we dismantle outdated electronics like old TVs, computer monitors, and smartphones, we expose ourselves and our families to highly hazardous chemicals that can affect our health in the long and short term. Not so fast, Martin. This goes for you too. Improper dismantling and disposal of end-of-life vehicles can also release dangerous fumes, which can make your family and those around you very ill. Burning plastic from cables and other e-waste can also create health risks. But if you follow these simple tips, you can prevent the worst from happening. When ready to get rid of your old electronics, contact authorized recyclers and dealers on proper instructions on how to safely dispose of unwanted items. While it's nice to have new things, buying too much can overwhelm our homes with clutter. If you need to purchase, choose long-lasting products or items that are highly recyclable to reduce these hazards. Make sure to check the labels on carpets and mattresses before purchasing, as certain countries require that these products are manufactured with flame retardants that may be hazardous when exposed to us over time. For a safer alternative, consider switching to carpets or mattresses made with POPs-free materials. And finally, it's very important to recycle. Recycling often helps reduce any buildup of unwanted items in homes and yards, keeping us all free from potentially hazardous pollutants. For more information on recycling or on disposing products of concern, contact your local waste management agency or visit stopthepops.com for more details. Sometimes danger lurks where you least expect it. The more you know, the healthier you can grow.
Holding a social event? Have you seen people not following protocols set in place to reduce the spread of COVID-19? If so, report them immediately. Use SMART or BTL and call 0800-PARTIES. That's 0800-727-8432. Our COVID-19 hotlines are available 24/7. These violators are putting your health and everyone you love at risk. Call our COVID-19 hotlines and report all violators. This message was brought to you by the Belize Police Department.
There are 2 new COVID deaths to report tonight, taking the total number to 277, making it 29 persons lost to COVID for the first 12 days of January. 34 new cases have been identified from 149 tests, leading to a positivity rate of 18.6%. Active total 587 with 83 new recoveries. Information Officer Claudette Decas-Norales has today's breakdown.
A total of 196 samples were tested. Out of this, 34 samples have resulted positive for COVID-19. There are 282 individuals newly under investigation. There are 83 new recoveries to report. Today, we also report that 15 infected persons are hospitalized. Unfortunately, 2 of these individuals are being treated at the intensive care unit. Sadly, there are 2 new deaths to report. The cumulative report we are presenting is from March 2020, when we had our first case. The new total of active cases now stands at 587. These are those persons who have been confirmed and are within the time frame to transmit the virus. To date, 63,446 samples have been tested nationally. Out of this, 11,366 samples have resulted positive for COVID-19. 282 individuals are under investigation. A total of 277 deaths have been reported, but we are pleased to report that there are 10,502 total recoveries. The heat map shows the districts mostly affected. The greatest number of cases are seen in Belize, Orange Walk, and Toledo. Belize district, including San Pedro Town, reported 21 new cases, with Belize City responsible for 16 of those cases. Orange Walk district reported 4 cases, with Orange Walk Town responsible for 2. Toledo reported 3 new cases, with Bella Vista responsible for 2 of those new cases. Corozal, Cayo, and the Stann Creek district each reported 2 new cases.
Last month, we showed you the zoo's newest addition, a baby tamandua anteater. At the time, he was nameless, and the zoo crew took to social media to have the public choose out of a list of names. Well, the people have spoken, and Archie the anteater is the new anteater ambassador. According to a release, Archie is short for Archibald, which means truly brave or bold. It fits little Archie well, as he was orphaned shortly after birth and managed to survive a rocky start to life. The zoo is currently working on a habitat for Archie so that the public can meet him. They are asking for donations in the form of financial, food, or materials to help build his enclosure. He's the only anteater on display at the zoo. For months now, the government has been insisting that football and other contact sports should remain illegal at this time due to the COVID-19 pandemic. 12 days ago, we told you about the program, Football for Schools, which the Football Federation of Belize is planning for when that COVID-19 restriction is eventually lifted several months from now. And they have come up with a specialized football training program, which they want to roll out to young Belizean footballers in the under 15, under 17, and under 19 age groups. It's called Evo Soccer, and it's a 52 weeks online course developed by coaches in the UK who have experience in training youth athletes. Since studying and education has migrated to the online domain, the Evo Soccer model utilizes online portals to give participants instructional videos and football drills to practice. In order to ensure that the students are perfecting these skills, they then record themselves practicing the drills and upload them on a weekly basis. The trainers then give focused feedback on areas of improvement that the young footballer needs to focus on. 180 Belizean youths will benefit from the program, and the FFB will pay for the entire year's subscription to Evo Soccer. They hosted a press conference today via Zoom to introduce the initiative to the general public, and 7 News tuned in. Here's what the head table had to say about this Evo Soccer and how it will work in Belize.
Evo Soccer is a 52 weeks online evasion program which focuses on individual attacking skills. The aim of this program is to provide attacking knowledge and skills to players of all ages and abilities. This program is for our youth national teams players. It will engage 150 outside players. When we say outside players, we're talking about the players that are on the field, except the goalkeepers. So it will be 150 outside players plus 30 goalkeepers. So this platform will touch 180 players. It will cater for 20 coaches who will monitor the performance of our players that will be using the platform.
We are hugely passionate about developing young footballers. We talk about the best players in the world that have ever played, and they're all the players that can evade defenders, as you say, go past the defender. If we think about Maradona or Messi or Ronaldo or Neymar, all the top players, they are able to go past people. Now, we've got ex-professionals over here that think that you can't teach that kind of thing. We at Evo Soccer believe and know that you can teach those things. There is a step-by-step process, which is the 470 videos.
Now, this platform provides over 478 tutorial videos, 6 resources to develop the people as players, but more importantly, as people, looking at lifestyle, diaries, but the main focus from a technical aspect is their individual development in 1v1 scenarios. Now, once accessed into the program, the students will access over 52 ways to beat a defender in 1v1 scenarios. So every student from U15, male and female, will have access to the ball and the same information that is being provided to academy players over here in England in Premiership and Championship clubs. Feedback is given through the students or the players, national players, videoing themselves, sending in the videos every week, and then the team at Evo HQ, some of our mentors have joined us on the call this afternoon, will then have 3 hours every week to provide, this is the key for me, specific, bespoke, individual feedback to each one of the 150 players. Now, this is the real key to individual development, which then when players go into the national training schools and national camps, that the coaches can then focus on the tactical side of the game.
Well, I'd just like to say that this initiative with the platform I find it to be a very good idea from the FFB part, being that we cannot be together and somewhere or the other we have to find a way to improve our skills.
When we heard about the Evo Soccer from the technical director, Mr. Marin, it was exciting to us because we were doing some work with the female players through Zoom, but you know that not being there and not having that direct connection was a bit difficult. But having this platform now, it's excellent, exciting for everybody. Using the 1v1 attacking skills is going to create a different platform experience for our players, because that is one of the things that I would consider we need to develop in.
The estimated cost for this project is $18,000, which will be fully covered by the FFB. The participants who will benefit from this first ever of Evo Soccer have already been selected, and there is also a waiting list of hopefuls. The officials at FFB say that this model is being used by athletes all around the world for training at this time due to COVID quarantines. And that's all we have for you for tonight. Thanks for watching With Your News. I'm Indira Craig. Remember that you can see a streaming video of this newscast at 7newsbelize.com, brought to you by Digi for the best postpaid plans in the country. Remember now to wash your hands, to wear a mask at all times in public, and to keep your social distance. Curfew starts at 8 tonight, so please stay inside. Join me back here tomorrow at 6, and until then, have a great night.